Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to your past life connection spread for the month of August. For those of you who are just now tuning in, these are generalized readings, so not everything in the reading may pertain to you. I am available to answer any questions as well as to do private readings and can be reached at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. So the first card in the spread is the Nine of Wands, and this indicates your past life connection. And this has to do with feeling exhausted, stressed out, beaten down. This life path that you two have endured together has been a difficult one, and you have spent your past life fighting to continue to move forward. Now, the spiritual lesson that you need to learn is in the Moon card. And this is all about trying to figure out what's real and what's not. But while you're doing this deep transformative work, you don't even know what you're working towards. You just know that whatever work, as difficult as it may be, is going to be worth it, and it'll be worth it. The next card is the Empress card, and this touches on how you connected with the other person. And the energy of the Empress is much lighter than the energy of the Nine of Wands and the Moon card, because this has to do with the heartfelt connection that you experienced with this individual. And doing so, you found pleasure within each other, and not just physically, but with the life that you two had shared with one another. Now, the next card is the Knight of Swords, and this indicates, the past life spiritual connection. And I think that, again, this is more about fighting for what you believe in. This is all about speaking your truth and standing your ground and not taking any BS from anybody. But it was a difficult path. Now, the next card is the Hermit card, and this indicates how you learned this spiritual lesson. So this has to do with deep introspection and reflection. In doing so, you were able to find peace in life, with your partner, and within yourself. Now, the next card is the Six of Wands, and this has to do with the current spiritual lesson for the both of you. This is a much different energy than the lesson or where you were at with the Nine of Wands. This path that you're on now is one that you're really proud of, one that you put a lot of work towards, much like you put a lot of work towards your past life. But this one had to do with a much lighter, easier type of life, very different from the life than than the one that you guys previously had. There's lots of celebration. Yeah, you're very proud. It's a much different type of energy this time around. Now, the next card is the Four of Swords, and this has to do with how you're doing in this life. And I think that, this really makes sense, because when we're dealing with the energy of the Four of Swords, this has to do with anxieties and overthinking things and stressing when we don't need to. This is all about taking a step back from those anxieties, those situations, and really taking a deep look and wondering if they're really worth, the angst that you're putting forth or the thought that you're putting forth. This is also to remind us to center. Now, the next card is the Seven of Wands, and this indicates, how the other person is doing in this life, and they feel like they need to fight to maintain this certain status that they have, gotten to fight to keep this life. And again, this fighting or the struggle that they think that they need to do is a direct result of this past life. Now, the next card is the Six of Cups, and this touches on advice for you. This has to do with, acknowledging that you two have been on this path for a long time together, that this is a long-lasting love, but also taking a step back and to be reminded almost of a euphoric type feeling that you two share. This has to do with a lighter type feeling and not trying to take things so seriously. Now, the next card is the Queen of Pentacles. And this has to do with advice for the other person. This is a very centering type energy. This is a very grounding type energy. And I think that this has to do directly with the Seven of Wands, coming back to earth and to remind them to love and nurture their self. But also, when we're dealing with the Queen of Pentacles, this is also a very secure path that you guys are on. It's much different from the path that you guys were on before. So, with that said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. Thanks, you guys.